Welcome everyone to our first Craftsmen podcast. My name's Ashley Campbell and I'm not only the membership officer at Grand Lodge, but I'm also the Vice President of the Craftsmen, which is our social club for Freemasons. I'm joined today with Dave Ritchie, who is the President of the Craftsmen and also the Worshipful Master of the Fremantle Lodge. How are you going, Dave?
Good, thanks mate.
Good to have you here today.
Yep, absolutely.
So we just want to ask you a few questions about the Craftsmen. I know a bit about it, but for the audience out there to find out a bit more about it. What is the Craftsmen and when was it formed?
So generally it got its rise in about the end of 2017. It was probably the brainchild of our current Deputy Grand Master and a few of the younger brethren back then. Yourself involved also.
And Michael Crawes from
Michael
memory,
Crawsey,
yeah,
yep.
Big pusher.
Yep. So it was, I guess, initially formed to try and engage some of our younger members. It was based around retention of young members. We had a bit of an influx of young members joining Freemasonry and then pretty much drifting away because maybe they're not finding what they were initially looking for or not being engaged socially. So the idea with this is, I mean, whilst we do say the younger members, it's not just based around our younger members, it's for everybody, but it's a more social aspect of Freemasonry. And I think what we're trying to do at the Craftsmen is just have things that are a bit more engaging for younger members. So like social aspects like getting out for a beer. One of our best events I think was the McGregor-Mayweather fight. We all met at the casino in the sports lounge, which was a great day. Just things like that. I think it's quite an important part of any social club, if you like, or a club of men is more communications and fun things to do in between the meetings. Yeah.
And as you said before, some of the lodges, aren't in communication with the young people as they could be.
Yeah.
And young guys are looking for something, and if there's not within the lodge, then they need to find it elsewhere, and hopefully the Craftsman is doing that.
And that's through no fault of those lodges in particular. I mean, we are missing quite a big generational gap in Freemasonry. And I think, so it's just trying to bridge that gap a little bit but having the social aspect there. I mean, it's a lot of the traditional things that lodges tend to do is, it's a dinner event with the ladies or things like that. Yeah. They don't sort of tend to spread. I'm speaking on behalf of my own lodge at this current point, but they don't always spread into things that may engage the younger guys and also their ladies as well. So there's also that keeping your young guys engaged, but also their partners. Yeah. What are we out doing 2-3 nights a week, and what's so appealing about it? So I think men join organisations like Freemasonry for the engagement, and you certainly do get that wonderful mentorship from your older brethren. I'm very close with the older members in my lodge, and they've mentored me fantastically, and it spreads then. But again, it's also not just the brotherhood and the fraternity side; it's the friendships that evolve outside of the lodge room. I think that's super important to a strong lodge. Is not only, it's the second Tuesday of the month, it's Fremantle's meeting night, it's the only time I see these guys. We try not to make it like that. We try and engage each other outside of lodges, build friendships. So then when you actually go into work with each other in the lodge room, there's even more of a connection there than just the
going to a
initial
lodge meeting.
Fraternal stuff. Yeah.
It's a difficult one. My lodge is very similar. We do a fantastic job of our social aspects during the meetings and after the meetings. Our dinners are really good fun and we connect well with each other at that point. But outside of the lodge meetings, there needs to be something for people to do as well and other guys to communicate from between lodges. It's all well and good that lodges do things within themselves, but we've got such a huge community of Freemasons in WA and a lot of young guys don't realise how many people are out there because they're sort of just stuck within their own lodge. So,
that's right.
You're right, it's extremely important to have functions outside. It is difficult because you put aside your lodge meeting night and a lot of us have just got that night off basically from your family or whatever. And also after that, you've got your management meeting. So then there's 2 nights a week outside of your normal house life. But I think it's very important that we keep pushing the social aspect of it, and the Craftsmen's the best way of doing that. So what events have you had, and what events are coming up that you can talk about? So
we've had, it has had a bit of a stuttery sort of a start. I mean, like I said, the biggest one we had was the McGregor-Mayweather fight, which was a wonderful day, and we actually had some non-Freemasons come to that as well, so that was a lot of fun. Again, we've had a bit of a stutter step, and a few guys left, and a bit of re-establishing, and obviously what you've been doing here at Grand Lodge as well, to re-kickstart it and breathe a bit of life back into it. Obviously, we were just about to kick everything off, weren't we? And then we've had this virus turn up, so we're all obviously just in a holding pattern at the moment. October certainly was a bigger event that we plan. I do that through my lodge, the Freeman Lodge. We do a Oktoberfest every year.
So we all look forward to that.
Yeah, so it's basically a few craft beers on tap and a pig on the spit and various other food there and whatsoever. So initially that was just a male only one for the boys essentially, but last year was the first time we engaged our ladies, and it actually was the most successful one there was. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, we had a lot of other access from other lodges coming. So I think that was important too. That, like we just touched on there, guys can't always, get out 3-4 nights a week or more than 4 times a month because they have young families. So I think it's important, and that's what the Craftsman's looking to do as well, is engaging our younger wives and partners basically to let them know what this is all about, and it's a safe environment that we're all sort of headed to, and something that to keep them engaged as well.
And as we both know, when the girls get together, they form their own friendships.
Absolutely.
Outside of Freemasonry themselves, and my partner's done the same. Yeah. She's met a lot of ladies within Freemasonry. She loves coming to events if she's allowed. If they're female friendly sort of events, she'll come to every one of them if she's allowed. She's travelled over east with me. Yeah. So it is a big part of Freemasonry trying to incorporate your partner and your family to as many events as you can, but we also need to make sure that we cater for our members.
Absolutely.
And members only things are quite fun as well.
Yeah, it's a changing face though, isn't it? I mean, now Freemasonry is a lot different to the stories I've heard about what it used to be like. I mean, now most families are dual income families. Wives and partners both working, and again, there's the other aspect of FIFO that we have now, which does hinder guys in their attendance to their own lodges. So ideally that the Craftsman is sort of that another area to look at, where just if you want to, I mean, we do some off the cuff sort of just social out for a beer during the week, or a lot of the guys, like I know you are, into their online gaming and stuff like that. So getting those forums a bit more organised and that, I think that allows access then to guys who are missing out socially or can't always make a lodge meeting. I think that's pretty important. But building the friendships outside a lodge room, I think, is very important to the harmony within one.
I think some of the events that we had for this year, obviously because of the coronavirus, have been put on hold, but there is things that we can do, like our video chats that we've been doing using Zoom for our general meetings. I have been speaking to the Deputy Grand Master, and the event that we did have for the beer, basically having a beer and having a chat with the Deputy Grand Master, was put on hold, but we are going to try and reinvigorate that using Zoom. Do you think that we'll be using those sorts of things after the coronavirus is finished so that we can still catch up? We've got members in Karratha like Grant and things like that.
Absolutely.
Give them an opportunity?
I think so. I think it's exploded overnight, this Zoom thing, hasn't it? It's quite a wonderful thing. We've been utilising it at the Fremantle Lodge. Last night we just had a social catch-up. So everybody sat in their respective man caves or rooms or whatever, and we all had a glass of wine or a scotch, and it was great. Just great to catch up and keep engaged. We're not seeing each other now, obviously, because of this virus. But I think it's important to keep, to check up on each other and make sure, of everybody's welfare and things like that. I mean, it's quite a lonely time. I know I utilise lodge as quite a good escape tool from from sort of general life. I get into the lodge room and I relax quite considerably. So I'm missing that somewhat. So so the idea with the Craftsmen and those sorts of things is to keep that engagement, keep everybody sort of chatting. But the new forums, certainly like this, the podcast and these new Zoom sort of platforms that we can keep using. I mean, we conducted a Craftsman meeting for the first time a week or so ago. Wasn't so? And I think it's very effective because you can't always get guys to commit to a meeting. So I think that's pretty important.
So Dave, you mentioned earlier on about the age group of the Craftsmen and the events that we do. We do have some members in the Craftsmen like Ross Flood, who's been a great contributor to Freemasonry as well as the Craftsmen. Can you elaborate a little bit more about who we're looking for in the Craftsmen and what they can expect?
By no means is the Craftsman created just for younger members, as we reference that quite a bit, but that's not the idea. The idea is just having similar age groups being able to connect with each other. But again, like you mentioned, great brother like Very Worshipful Brother Flood, awesome bloke, loves to come out, gets really involved with the younger guys, and I think that's important too. Is having some strong members within that to allow them to basically, created there is that mentoring that's super important to Freemasonry. I think that's probably for me has been the biggest thing throughout my Masonic career, was that my grandfather was a Freemason, and I think it's very important that guys of our sort of similar demographic get the opportunity to engage with some of our more senior members or more long-term Masons. I think, it's by no means created just for young guys. I mean, if you're socially like-minded and you're interested in some of our events that we are putting up, I'd encourage anybody to sign up. I mean, it's not all go-karting and sort of online gaming. I think, we want to look at that sort of intermingling of guys. The idea we're all held together with this common bond, which is Freemasonry, but it's creating the friendships around that that I think is super important, and it can only go to contributing, towards the future of it.
Running big events.
Absolutely.
And doing things, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so by no means is it limited to younger members. Again, some of our stuff is more aimed at a younger demographic, but anybody's welcome. Yep.
Okay, well, thanks for your time today, Dave. It's been great to talk to you about the Craftsmen.
Thanks for having me.
If people want to get in touch, how can they do that if they want to join the Craftsmen?
Yep, so there's a website and also an email. It'll all be contained in the bio below. So just click on the links and just send us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible and get you signed up and going. So.
And once they become a member, how do they communicate between each other? Like, how do we communicate mainly?
Yep. So a lot of our comms in the past and still at present has been on the Facebook page. We have a private page there, which is a good one. It's open for a lot of discussion too, which is a good thing. Again, we're incorporating this Zoom meeting platform now to conduct our general meetings, which allows everybody to attend, which attendance has been a hard one. So those sorts of platforms there, I think, pretty important. It's keep each other engaged and then trying to find the common dates where we can all get out and enjoy these events.
So if you're interested in finding out more about the Craftsmen or joining the Craftsmen, download the membership form below, fill it in and send it through, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And stay tuned for the next podcast.